Hello there and welcome. My name is Randy Kennett, co-founder of Hone Consulting, where all the work we do is about helping team members and leaders to be more effective team players to achieve greater team work. And one way we do that is through our acclaimed training, Team Player Fundamentals, which is offered as an online course, it's offered in person as a workshop, and it's offered through one-on-one coaching. Here's the promise of Team Player Fundamentals training. The promise is this: when it comes to teams and teamwork, everything can rise with these fundamentals in place or can fall without these fundamentals in place. Everything when it comes to teams and teamwork. I've seen the results firsthand myself for over 20 years now as a leader of teams and as a coach, consultant, facilitator, and trainer of teamwork and team development. These are the foundational fundamentals that we must get right, that we must start with. If you are an individual or a team that has capabilities in any way to be more effective as team players, as teams, then this brief video, this complimentary training can absolutely help support and serve you. There are 4 foundational team player fundamentals altogether, and in this brief video, this complimentary training, I'm going to introduce you to one of those team player fundamentals, which is this: choosing positive attitudes. Choosing positive attitudes is one of the 4 foundational team player fundamentals. And in this brief video complimentary training, more specifically, our learning objectives. Number 1, identify what is an attitude, define an attitude. And number 2 is to name the 6 most common negative attitudinal mindsets that pollute teams and cause lost productivity. Before we get to that though, question for you. Do you know why negative attitudes exist? Why people have negative attitudes? Generally speaking, one of the main reasons. Why do you think negative attitudes exist, or why do you think people might have negative attitudes? Generally speaking, one of the main reasons. One of the main reasons, believe it or not, people don't know that they're being negative. People don't know that they have a negative attitude. There are people walking all around, all over this world, and not saying they're bad people, they're good people, phenomenal people, maybe a few bad people. But in general, all of us can be walking around with negative attitudes and not know it. And if we do know it, then the next challenge becomes, how do we choose better ones, good ones, positive ones? And our learning objectives are going to tackle both of those points right now, briefly. Let's first start by defining what is an attitude, identifying what is an attitude. And here's our working definition. We define an attitude as a person's characteristic or mindset, and or mindset. So again, our working definition of attitude is a person's characteristics and or mindset. Put in other words, we can define an attitude as a way of talking, thinking, feeling, and behaving, doing, acting. And there's a cycle to it. We can get caught in a cycle of talking, thinking, feeling, and behaving. And when it comes to our attitudes, there's a spectrum, positive to negative. And when it comes to our attitudinal mindsets, our attitudinal characteristics, our way of talking, thinking, feeling, and doing, the cycle where we perpetuate can either be on the positive end of the spectrum, the negative end of the spectrum, or anywhere in between. Now, in this video, we're going to be focused on the negative end, and let's get into that now. The 6 most common negative attitudinal mindsets that we need to monitor, that we need awareness about. Here we go. And I'm presenting them in an order, but certainly there's no ranking to them. Number 1, the worst case scenario mindset. And this is talking and thinking before something has happened, talking and thinking only about all the negative, the bad, the mistakes, the challenges that might happen. Worst case scenario mindset. Number 2, overgeneralization mindset. This is once something has happened, talking and thinking about the few mistakes, the few challenges, the few negatives that did happen, and letting the few outweigh the positive or missing the positive altogether. And sometimes the few might be just one. Overgeneralization mindset. Number 3, victim mindset. And this is the victim mindset is the person who talks and thinks about all the control and all the influence being outside of themselves with someone or something else. Victim mindset. Number 4, who cares mindset. The who cares mindset, this is a belief, a dominant thought of why care. And with that belief of why care, the person doesn't care. They don't care about other people on the team. They don't care about policies, procedures, rules, the organization. The who cares mindset. Number 5, the complainer's mindset. The complainer's mindset, this is the person who is upset about someone or something or disapproves about someone or something. And because they're upset or because they disapprove, they're going to let everyone know they can about how upset they are or about their disapproval, or they're going to demonstrate in every way they can how upset they are or how much they disapprove of something. That's the complainer's mindset. Number 6, certainly not least, number 6, the I can't, we can't mindset. And this is the person who talks about all the reasons why they can't do something, they as an individual or they as a team. And ironically, in many cases, they're talking about all the reasons why they can't do something and they haven't even tried. So they don't even know for sure. That's the I can't, we can't mindset. And those are the 6 most common negative attitudinal mindsets that can exist, that people can have, and that people might not be aware that they have. If you want to know more, you can find more information on choosing positive attitudes, one of the team player fundamentals, or about the entire team player fundamentals, training, online course, whatever it might be, on this page. Through links below, check it out. I encourage you to check it out. For now, one more question for you. How do you help someone who has a negative attitude? How do you help someone who is caught in a negative attitudinal cycle? How do you help someone who maybe won't get over their excuses for being negative? And that includes yourself. You might be that someone who needs help. One of the best starting places is to name it. Name the negative attitude. Bring a light to the darkness. And guess what? There are 6 main names that it might have, which we just reviewed. Worst case scenario, overgeneralization, a victim, who cares, the complainer, or the I can't, we can't. Name it, bring light to the darkness. As far as next steps, if you didn't notice, there's a link, information available to you on this page below to a downloadable PDF that outlines these 6 most common negative attitudinal mindsets and some tips to break out of the negative attitudinal mindsets. I encourage you to reflect on yourself, reflect on your team. Where might you have some capabilities to improve on some of the mindsets that you might have in any one or all of the 6 most common negative attitudinal mindset? And if there are areas, mindsets that you might as an individual or as a team be able to improve on, then look at the tips and what tips might you be able to implement to help break out of that negative attitudinal mindset. And know that the tips provided, it isn't an exhaustive list. There are other tips, and perhaps you can brainstorm with your team or on your own some tips that might be even more effective for you. As far as next steps go, if you didn't notice, there's also information, a link on this page below to an attitude assessment, which is complimentary. You can do a self-assessment on your attitude as it relates to these 6 most common negative attitudinal mindset. If you're interested, I encourage you to do the attitude self-assessment, the complimentary attitude self-assessment. As far as next steps, if you have comments, questions, or feedback, I welcome all comments, questions, and feedback. Please, please, please share it. As far as next steps, if you found value or benefited from this video or know of others who may find value or benefit from this video, then I encourage you to share it with them. We appreciate your willingness to share it with them. As far as next steps, if you're interested in other videos, you'll also find information, links on this page below about how you can get more videos. You can also always visit our website as well, and we have other complimentary videos for your viewing pleasure. And lastly, as far as next steps, again, if you want more information on choosing positive attitudes, this Team Player Fundamentals, or the entire Team Player Fundamentals training online course or in-person workshop or one-on-one coaching, please get a hold of us, connect with us, and we're happy to answer any and all questions, inquiries that you might have. On that note, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your interest. And I just leave you with, we all have choices. We all have influence. Let's create the positive. Thank you so much again, and bye for now.